What's up, everybody out there? It's your girl B with Toccoa Gospel Music News, and I'm excited to start a new series here on our Toccoa Gospel podcast, and it's called the Choir Series. Now, we've interviewed a couple of choir presidents as well as choir directors, and tonight we are pleased to bring you Patrick Riddick out of Virginia. He's a wonderful choir director. He sings with Ricky Diller and he directs that choir as well, but he also has his own group entitled Patrick Riddick and Divine Worship. So we want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this interview with Patrick Riddick.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well on yourself, just in and out in this airport.
I'm sorry, I completely forgot about the thing this
No,
weekend.
you're good. You're good. My next flight is not leaving until like 5 minutes or 2, something like that.
I know you probably don't remember this, but back in 2000-something, anyway, we were in Tampa at Ann's convention, and I think you were at a church or something, and you walked, and I was like, oh my God, it's the I forgot the video.
Oh my God.
I probably wigged out on you. I'm sure I did.
I remember Anne being in Tampa that year. We had a great time. I'm trying to think. You see, what church? We were at a church?
We were at a church. I think it was the Doobie Power concert. It was the Doobie Power.
Okay.
That church we
You know what?
in that top part. And I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Lord. But you know what? I actually, that stuff doesn't even bother me. It's funny to me because I still act like that over people too. So it's so funny to me.
You probably think I'm crazy. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm a good choir director.
No, don't worry about it. Because seriously, I've been in New G 9 years, and with this reunion being today at 5 o'clock, I already know I'm going to be acting a fool because there are going to be singers there that I grew up watching as a little kid before I even thought about being in New G. So I'm going to be snapping pictures, singing, and going crazy.
Oh my goodness. Oh God, it'll be a fly on the wall. Anywho, wish I was from Chicago. At this point, too much good stuff going on.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got started with directing choirs and doing what it is that you do now with your own choir.
Ooh.
How did you start?
Wow. I got started at the age of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was 10 years old at my grandmother's church. She was Baptist, Union Baptist Church. And I always had a thing for music. Ever since I can remember, I was always trying to play the piano or singing. Of course, there were albums back then. And so my grandmother, my mother, they purchased a lot of albums. Walter Hawkins, Myrna Summers, all that good stuff, Thomas Whitfield. So I could always be found sneaking in a choir robe, standing on top of the bed, singing, playing church, doing all that kind of stuff. But at about the age 10, there was a youth choir at my grandmother's church, and they didn't have a musician. And my mother was the kind of person, whether I could do it or not, whether I was good at it or not, she would push me to do it. And so she told them, oh, he can do it, he can play. And I really don't think I honestly was playing all that good at the time. But I ended up playing for the choir starting at age 10. And from there, it just kind of escalated with me singing in a few community choirs in the area with my mother. And then, of course, by the time I got about 15 or 16, I began to do more directing than at my home church, New Jerusalem Church of God in Christ, which is my foster father's church. And by 18, I was the minister of music there. And during that time, about when I got about 18 or 19, it was my freshman year in college, we started the Young Adult Choir at New Jerusalem. And the choir got good, and people started asking us to come and sing all over the place and everything. And Dad was very traditional, very staunch Pentecostal holiness. And he was like, listen, you can't take my church choir and be running all around the city and singing and stuff like y'all some artists. If that's what you want, if that's what you want to do, you're going to have to do your own thing because my church choir is for the church. And so a couple of us, we branched off. We sat down and organized what is known today as Divine Worship, and that was January 2nd, 2000 is when we were founded. But it was just kind of a thing where I grew up in church, and I was always playing and always singing. Somebody was always pushing the mic, and I guess natural leadership ability always kind of pushed me out front to be doing various things. But it wasn't something that I honestly aspired. I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to, direct. It just kind of just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so my true passion, of course, at first was playing the organ. I always wanted to be an organist, and I was okay, but it really changed for me. Like I said, at about 11 or 12, when I turned on the TV, and the first time I ever saw Riddick Interview, and they would, I'm so serious, and they were on TV doing the Patti LaBelle Going Home to Gospel special. I'm sure you remember that. And I had never seen anybody do that in front of a choir. And that day, literally, from that day forward, I actually stopped playing the organ and decided that I just wanted to direct choirs.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how that passion came, and I've been doing it ever since.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are some of your influences then for your directing, writing, and who did you grow up listening to?
I grew up listening to, of course, everything that my mother and them brought, but all the good gospel. My major influences were Charles Hayes and the Cosmopolitan, the prayer choir. First song I ever taught a choir was God Said It, I Believe It, by them. I grew up listening to Walter Hawkins, Thomas Whitfield, and a lot of Maddie Moss Clark, especially with the albums that she did with Michigan State, International Mass, a lot of Benny Cummings, Harvey Lewis from out of D.C., Richard Smallwood. I listened to everything because whatever I heard on the radio, they would find the record for me or find the cassette for me. And so my greatest influences musically, definitely when it comes to directing and styling, I got a lot of that from Ricky Dillard and Orlando Draper, the late great Orlando Draper. Definitely. And as it relates to writing and the sound of the choir, I did get some of that from Ricky, but I enjoyed Thomas Whitfield, Walter Hawkins, and a lot of Benny Cummings. Yeah. So those are, and those are a lot of my greatest influences. Even still to this day, I still kind of hold true to them. I've been really getting into just the whole Detroit gospel scene here lately while I've been studying more Whitfield, a lot of Rudolph Stansfield and Michael Fletcher, Voices of Tabernacle, Bishop Craig. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. So it kind of opened up Pandora's box because in listening to a lot of Thomas Whitfield, then I discovered that him and James Cleveland worked together was the Tabernacle. So then I started buying all those old records, just listening to that stuff. So yeah, kind of a good melting pot of everything.
Okay, right. So can you tell us about a song for every worshiper and what made you dedicate it to the bishop?
A song for every worshiper has been the longest project I worked on in my life. A Song for Every Worshiper is a project comprised of a lot of my early writings. And even in listening to the project, if anyone has heard me and my choir now, you'll notice a distinct difference because A Song for Every Worshiper really represents who we were and how we were when we started, because that project was actually recorded in 2005.
Wow.
Way back in 2005, and Ricky Dillard was a part of that project. He helped to co-produce that project, and songs like Greater Is He, Jesus Is Coming Again, I Want to Be There. Those were some of the first songs I ever wrote in my late teens, early 20s, and we recorded those songs. And I picked that title during that time because I wanted to have a project that kind of covered every need that every kind of worshiper would have, or in particular, meet every need that a church service would demand. So if you really sit there and listen to the album, it'll almost make you feel like you're in a church service because it goes from the devotions in the beginning to an anthem during the scriptures to a song of worship and praise, and to, your traditional churchy song, and to a sermonic selection, and to a jam. It kind of covers every facet. And I dedicated the album to my late father because during that time, of course, even though he kicked us out and made us start our own choir, he was still an avid supporter financially and pushing me and backing me with prayers and staying on me, trying to make sure I kept my name clean and all that kind of stuff. And then not only that, with him passing, this album contains the only that I know of professional recording segment of him singing and praying.
Oh, wow.
And so it being that was a special time, it only seemed befitting to dedicate it to him. He's been gone now about 2 years, and definitely something that represents where we were at that time. So definitely, I love Song for Every Worshiper. Everyone seems to really be excited about it. I actually, honestly, was not going to release it, but you can thank my manager Hope for that, because I was kind of done with that part of my life. But I'm glad now, because so many people have been saying, in a time where they seem to have a hard time finding just good regular music to teach at their church.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, I tell people it's not really fancy. It's just real straight up and down church music that we've been calling it practical church music that you can actually use. So
there is a hard time. You have a hard time. I direct too at church, but it's a hard time. You have to either do a part of a song or pray somebody to put something out that you can sing.
Absolutely.
That's concert material, but we don't want to do that on Sunday morning. That kind of
stuff.
Oh yeah. So it's good. It's good that you did that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very timely. Very timely. It's one of the hottest things right now on my side, I would say. A lot of people a lot of people every time like Patrick. I'm like, okay, well, let me get this interview with him.
I thank God for it. I really thank God for it. It is really blowing my mind, truly.
Okay, so what's your favorite song on the project?
My favorite song, oh gosh,
and why?
Ooh, that is hard to say. I'll say my favorite song to direct on that project is Now Unto Him. Okay. I could never say which song is my favorite to sing, because all of them are they're just so good in church. I just love them all. My favorite song to perform and direct would have to be Now Unto Him, because it's a very technical song, and it really gives me an opportunity to really chop it up, as we say in direct terms, without me having to hold a mic and commentate during the song or even kind of sing. That is one of the songs where I can just stand there and direct and do what I really love to do.
All right. Well, I like Testimony. I heard that, it's like, I was like, you guys need to get this right.
Well, listen, if you were in Tampa, then you probably remember when I performed that with the International Youth Choir that day.
Was that in Tampa or was that in Charlotte?
Yeah, that was Tampa.
You did it in Charlotte,
I did it in Houston. I did it, Charlotte. I did it in Tampa with the youth choir. Then DW came with me, and we did it in Charlotte. I did it in Houston as well. But I'm a little worried about that song, because I'm like, hope we to put this project out, and people are going to ask for us to start singing it again. And the truth is, I don't think I can fall on the floor anymore.
I know you cracked me up when you died. I was like, that choir better sing, Tim.
I'm telling you, if I fall on the floor, I can get down there, but I don't think I can get back up. I said I need to practice that.
You ain't got to fall.
This 35 and change the game.
You have to fall on the floor anymore. All right. So, you guys are recently in How Sweet the Sound, right?
Yes.
So how did that go for you? How was that experience for you? And what did that bring about?
That was a phenomenal experience. What Verizon is doing, I think they played a very integral part in the renaissance or the revival of the church choir, because it sparked so much interest, and it's done on such a grand and professional level that you would have to be literally crazy not to leave that event inspired. Win, lose, whether you already know, not know, it doesn't matter. Just the way they treat you, the atmosphere, the professionalism, and the platform that is given will make you feel like, if you haven't, it'll make you feel like you already won five Stellas and 18 Grammys, and that you had 25 gold records, under your belt. Just a phenomenal experience just to see all those choirs together, and everyone just having a good time. And Verizon really ensured that that's what happened, that you had a great time. and you learn so much as well, because in the midst of that, you know, the technicians and the producers, they're actually coaching you, and they're showing you different aspects. So, you know, if you don't already have that experience, you know, if you ever get an engagement that'll put you on one of those platforms and stuff, you know what to do. You know to ask for during your sound check. You know, you'll know how to conduct yourself. So all of that was very rewarding. Of course, winning the money was very, very rewarding. And we, absolutely. And you know, we've been singing for 13 years. So you know, we've had a lot of engagements, and we've had big engagements. But I don't think there's ever been a time where we sung before about 10,000 people. Wow. So it was very unnerving. I went out there and we looked up to the rafters and saw all those people, and I was like, even I got a little woozy in the head. I was like, wait a minute. You know, and so it was really great. You know, people even rising, they tried to encourage us to come back and do it again this year, but we have become extremely busy, and I just could not dedicate that time to doing it again this year, because that was rehearsal every week, 2 and 3 times a week for about 2 or 3 months straight, and I just didn't have that kind of time to do it this year. Yeah.
Okay, so what is going on? What's down in the pipeline for you all?
Oh my God, there are a lot of great things in the pipeline. Actually, for us, we are embarking upon a new venture with a label based out of New York, and so we're going to be getting ready to actually work on a brand new project.
Okay.
So we're doing that. Also preparing to do a small tour for a song for every worshiper. Okay. And that's just what we're doing, just riding the wave, getting pumped up, and getting ready to put out some fresh music for everybody in 2014.
Okay. So what advice would you give to upcoming choir directors or community choir members hoping to make it onto the platform that you've reached thus far in your career? Because I'm pretty sure you'll be around for a minute.
My advice to them is, and this is going to sound crazy, is to build your hope on things eternal. And hold to God's unchanging hand. I'm so serious, because if you're doing this with the hopes of trying to be, you may never be, and you will be extremely disappointed if it doesn't happen, because it is truly a long-suffering thing. And, you know, with the way the industry is, you know, we know that the industry is not as inclined or favored towards choirs, because it is very expensive. You know, with digital music downloads, it's cutting out a lot of the middleman with these record companies, so it's hard to travel choirs and stuff. And so I tell these guys all the time, you got to do it because you love it. You know, when we started years ago, we just did it because we just wanted to sing, and we just wanted to have church, and choir was who we was, and that's the kind of music that we like. Never really did it with the intention of even getting as far as we are now. So I say, as long as your focus is Christ-centered and you're just doing it because you love it, I believe the doors will open. It will happen. It'll happen when you least expect it, you know, but I just tell people, have your business together, you know. Keep your name good, keep order, you know, just do those things so that when the door does open, you're ready and you're not trying to get it together.
Okay. All right, so who are you listening to right now? Like, what's in your iPod, or what was in your car when you got out of it to go to the airport to catch this flight?
I'm telling you, it is such this season for gospel music right now is exciting. I mean, I've never witnessed so much music coming out at one time, good music. So I'm listening to Kevin Lemons. I'm listening to Sean Tillery. I'm listening to Jason Wright. I'm listening to Dexter Walker. I'm really giving all of my independent bros a lot of play. And then that's a lot of the new stuff that I'm listening to. But you will still find me listening to a lot of vintage stuff. Okay. A lot of vintage stuff. But right now, I've been playing those guys' music consistently over and over and over again because it's just good stuff. It is really good stuff. Outside of listening to this new material that I'm trying to cram in my head for Ricky's recording tonight and tomorrow.
Is he putting new stuff on this? Look.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's gonna be some medleys with a lot of the old tunes from back in the day, but then he got some new stuff, and like myself, he's reached back and even went vintage and grabbed a couple of old tunes from back in the day.
Man.
That's gonna shock people. Oh yeah.
Is he gonna do Hallelujah? So, I know, I love that song. Hallelujah.
We're gonna. Oh yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Keep on praying. Is he gonna do that? Keep on praying.
Oh, I know what prayer can do. I believe he. I do know he's doing Keys to the Kingdom, and usually he would run those three together because he's doing Signs of the Judgment, because that's what made them famous at McDonald's Gospel Fest. So yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. That's gonna be awesome. All right. Mm-hmm. So if you had to describe your choir's ministry style, what would you call it? Like how you guys minister? Because yeah.
I would say we are current yet classic.
Okay. Check that out.
Very relevant to what is going on in 2013. Yet we hold true to those classic characteristics that made a lot of the choirs of the 70s and 80s and 90s great and stick around for a long time. So we're relevant now, but I try to stay the ground that those things that kept Milton Brunson around for 50 years, and it kept Walter Hawkins and Richard Smallwood. Those years like that. So I tell everybody all the time, we're current yet classic. I try to keep us that bridge between the young and the old.
Okay. So what do you want people that follow your ministry to actually know about your ministry?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said, what do you want people to know? What do you want them to take away from your ministry, or whenever they come to see you all sing live? What do you want them to take away from it? Or what do you want them to know about your ministry? What's that one driving thing?
Wow. The one driving thing. That's hard to say. It's so many different things. I would say the one thing that I want them to know is, wow.
You don't have to narrow it. You can go ahead. You can go ahead with whatever
I would say. We try to be a working class people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, everybody in my choir, they are in school, or they're working full time. They got careers. Some of them are nurses and all this kind of stuff. And I do that because it keeps us level-headed. Even myself, I work a 9 to 5 every day. It keeps us level-headed, so that I always wanted to be there. When people come to, to hear us minister, to hear us sing, they never get the impression that we are on some superstar kind of, blow. So the greatest thing that I want people to know about us is that we are just like them.
Okay. All right. So where can people find you on the web besides Facebook?
Right. Of course, Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Patrick_Riddick. I'm on Instagram at PatDirects. I can be found online. Our website is www.prdw.info.
Okay.
And even email. I get emails all the time. People asking stuff. I can be found at PatrickRiddickMusic@gmail as well.
Okay. All right. So, where are you going to be in the near future? Like, where are you going to be singing? Or is there a calendar on your website or something where we can follow where you'll be?
The calendar will be posted on the website. So many things have been coming in, of course, as the result of their release 3 weeks ago. And my manager, Hope, has been frantically pulling all of that together. I can't even begin to call it right off the top of my head, but I know we've been calls heavily from the New York, D.C., Maryland area, as well as a few calls down in Alabama. So hopefully that stuff will go through, and we'll be able to post it on the website within the next week and a half about where we're going to go. What she's trying to do now is with those spot dates that are that we're calling in, we're going to just try to tie them together and create tours and do other stops on the way or around those other places. So within the next week to 2 weeks, they'll be able to see a full calendar of where we're going to be.
Okay. I have a question. Do you find people are more, I don't want to say accepting choir music up north as opposed to in the deep south?
Do I find that they're more accepting?
Yeah, or would really want to see, It seems like, I say this because it seems like up north, this is my opinion, up north it seems like, I don't know, it just seems like it's hopping more or something than it is kind of down. I'm in Georgia, so it just seems like it's, maybe Atlanta's hot, but, just asking.
Well, I'm gonna say it's in patches.
Okay.
It's patches. Here where we are in the Mid-Atlantic, of course, that's gospel is extremely traditional here.
Mm-hmm.
So choirs are the more favorite over your ensembles and your soloists. But when you go up north a little bit and you hit the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, they love ensembles and soloists. Then when you go up a little more north, you go to places like Philadelphia, it's very choir heavy there.
Okay.
But then when you go, Delaware, what have you, it kind of thins out and it doesn't get choir heavy again until you get to New York. So I think it's just in patches. It just depends on where you are and what that city is doing. Because even when you go down south, like in the Carolinas, Raleigh and Charlotte is very choir heavy.
Yeah.
But then the other areas are kind of like quartet-y, very groupish. It just depends. To me, it seems the same.
Okay.
I just know that in the South, it seems like it may be fewer choirs, or should I say, just choirs that we just haven't heard of yet. But to me, it kind of, the Eastern Seaboard kind of, to me, is kind of doing the same from all the way up to the top, all the way down to Florida. It's kind of balanced to me. I don't think no one will ever be as heavy in choirs as it is out in the Midwest. Midwest is just choir country, period. That Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee area, it's tons and tons of choirs. Every time you turn a new block, there's some choirs.
Sometimes I feel like I should have been born there or something. I was telling somebody that. I was like, I should have been born
absolutely.
in Chicago. Because I was
absolutely.
I was being
amen. Come on.
Anyway, look, I appreciate you talking to me, Patrick. I know you have a flight.
It's been a pleasure.
I really appreciate it. I've been trying to get you for 2 years. And I finally got you.
Yeah.
So cool.
Finally. It's been a blast.
I know. I'll send a link to this once I finish with it and get everything edited up and whatnot to Hope so she can get it over to you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Cool.
I really appreciate it. And you guys have fun tonight. Oh, God, I wish I could be a fly on the wall. But have fun.
I'll tell you all about
it. I know y'all going to be dancing up something awful in there, too.
Oh, yes.
And I'll make sure I tell my sister, because we watched the Ricky Diller video, the one from, I forgot what the one it was, Chapter 7, I think. Yeah, we watched that. She was like, oh, he is directing the mess out that choir. And she's like, look at him shout, look at him shout. And then when I saw you, because that's what she likes, that's what we do. She and I we're both choir heads, right? We're both choir heads. Came up, with the Ricky Dillers and the James Halls and, Cathedral of Faith and all those, Thompson Community and whatnot. So we all came up with that in the 90s, 80s, 90s, Florida Mass Choir, James Cleveland, all that stuff. You called out the Cosmopolitan Choir. I can remember my dad having that record down. He still got the record.
Oh, yeah.
Down under his reel-to-reel. So, I'm with you. So, that's just what we do. So, I bought the CD, and I was like, oh, there's a DVD in here. So we were watching it. She's like, oh, my God, look at him shout. And then you directed, she's like, oh, my goodness, he is directing something. So when I saw you in Tampa, I was like, oh, my God, that's the guy from Ricky Dillon. I was having a
Lord.
fit. I was having a fit. I'm like, he's a superstar to me.
Oh.
You are. I enjoy watching you. I enjoyed watching your Ames, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I enjoyed your CD that I downloaded that I didn't know was out. And I was a little mad at you about that. I'm like, how did I not know this came out? But, yeah. So,
Yeah, everybody was saying that.
I did not know this CD came out. But anyway.
Lord.
So, yeah, you have fun, and I'm sure you will. And y'all do well.
We'll do.
And give us a good recording.
Okay.
With some good music.
We'll do. We'll do.
Right. Safe travels.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.